Hello, my name is Lav Kumar HN, Department of ISC, Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering. Today discuss about overview and assumptions in fault-based testing. First, what is fault-based testing? Let's see into it. Fault-based testing is a type of testing that involves identifying faults or defects in software or systems by using test cases that are designed to intentionally trigger those faults. This type of testing is used to find defects in software and systems that could potentially cause problems, errors, or failures when the software or system is used in the real world. The main aim of this fault-based testing is identifying the errors or failures in a software or a system and to identify different faults and to correct these faults by using different test cases. Now let's see in the assumption in fault-based testing. There are different assumptions. So as usual, first assumption in fault-based testing is that there are faults or defects in the software or system. This assumption is based on the fact that all software and systems are designed and developed by humans, and humans are prone to making mistakes. As a result, it is assumed that there will be faults or defects in the software or system that need to be identified and corrected. The first assumption is simple, that humans will make mistakes in common. So this is, and these humans will only develop the software or system. So obviously there will be mistakes happens. To identify and to correct these faults, we use this fault based testing. And next, as a second assumption is that it is possible to create test cases that will trigger these faults or defects. This assumption is based on the idea that uh, if a fault or defect exists in the software or system, then there must be a way to trigger it through test case. Second assumption is the faults identified, these faults are going to be corrected, or these faults are going to be rectified by using different test cases, and these test cases will trigger the faults. By using the different test cases, we usually going to get the faults. And another assumption is that by identifying and correcting these faults or defects, the overall quality of the software or system will improve. This assumption is based on the idea that the fewer faults or defects there are in the software or system, the more reliable and effective it will be, it will when used in the real world. And by using different test cases, we are going to make our system or software very effective, and this effective software will be used in the real world for the applications we have developed. Overview. The first step in fault based testing is to identify potential faults or defects in the software or system. So in this testing, so we need to identify the faults first. Then it can be done through various methods, and those methods are code reviews, design reviews, and risk assessments. And once potential faults or defects have been identified, test cases are designed to intentionally trigger these faults or defects. In first time we will first step we will identify, and in second step we are going to trigger those faults by using different test cases. These test cases are designed to simulate real world scenarios and are intended to explore any potential issues with the software or system. And if there are any faults, we are going to make those faults into effective, and we will correct them. And when the test cases are run, if and any faults or defects that are triggered are recorded and reported, these records faults are going to be recorded, and these faults or defects are then these faults are going to be analyzed and they are going to be corrected, and the test cases are rerun to ensure that the corrections have been effective. After once again these test cases are going to be rerun, whether the case is properly running, whether the case is passed or failed. To check these things, we are going to rerun the software. And this is the last step and final step in fault based testing, to ensure that whether the system is reliable and effective when used in the real world. And this is done by running additional tests and performing other quality assurance tests checks to ensure that the software or system is functioning as indeed. I mean, whether it's working up to our level, up to our mark, or our aim, whether it's achieved or not, up to this level, we are going to check at the last step, and we are going to leave this software to the real world for various applications. And the final conclusion, the climax part of this video is this conclusion, which means in this conclusion what we have discussed till now, it is mentioned, which means how the faults will arise and how we are going to correct those faults or defects, and at final, at last, what we will give to the real world. This is what conclusion. And what is first, what we will do, we will check for faults or defects, where we are having defects, where what are really happening faults in the system. And after that, we are going to use different test cases by different steps, and though in those steps we will correct one by one fault. At last final, we will check whether the system is working properly or not. If the system is up to the mark or it's working properly, then we are going to leave it into the real world for effective use. And that's all. Thank you. My name is Lavakumar Echan, and if you like this content, if you find it's very helpful, you can share with your friends, and you can subscribe and like this video. And if you are having any questions, any sort of questions to ask, you can mention it in comment, or you can, if you want any recommendations for my videos, you can give it, that I will try to develop. Is there any mistakes also, you can comment it in comment section. Thank you.